You think you've seen every scam out there, right? Think you're too smart to get taken? That was me. Thought I had it all figured out, until I got sucker punched by a fight club. And not just any fight club. A rigged, dangerous, cutthroat operation run by the slickest bunch of con artists I've ever met. It started innocently enough, if you can believe it. There was this guy at the gym, Steve. Friendly, charismatic. The kind of guy who made you feel like you were his best friend after a few conversations. We started talking after workouts, just casual stuff. Then one day, he drops the bomb. Hey, you want to see some real action? Underground Fight Club, invite only, not for the faint of heart. Of course, I was in. What red-blooded guy wouldn't be? It sounded too good to be true, and you know what they say about that. But I wasn't thinking clearly. I was caught up in the idea of being part of something dangerous, something exclusive. So a week later, there I was, standing in front of this rundown warehouse in the worst part of town. There was no sign, no indication that anything was happening inside, just a couple of big tattooed guys at the door. They gave me the once-over and let me in. As soon as I stepped inside, it was like walking into another world. The noise hit me first. Cheers, jeers, fists slamming into flesh. The air was thick with sweat, blood, and smoke. Fighters were going at it in the middle of a makeshift ring. No gloves, no rules, just pure brutality. And around them, men throwing down cash like it was Monopoly money. Steve showed up a few minutes later, grinning like the Cheshire Cat. "Glad you could make it," he said. Then he pointed to one of the fighters, this absolute beast of a man. "That's your guy. Bet on him, you'll be swimming in cash." Here's where the first twist hits. Steve had never steered me wrong before, so I put down more than I should have. A lot more. My whole savings account. I figured, why not? My guy was undefeated, everyone knew it. The fight started, and just as I thought, my guy was destroying the other dude. Blow after blow, it was like watching a machine. I was feeling pretty damn good, thinking about all the money I'd be walking out with. But then, just when it seemed like my guy was about to finish the job, he stopped. Just stopped. Stumbled like he'd been hit by an invisible punch. And then, bam, he went down, knocked out cold. My stomach dropped. The room went wild, but not in the way I expected. They were laughing at me. That's when it clicked. I'd been played. I tried to find Steve, but he was nowhere, vanished into thin air. Everyone was gone within minutes, the whole place clearing out like it had never existed. I stood there, broke, humiliated, and angry as hell. But the worst part? My bank account wasn't just empty from the bet. I checked it later that night and found out those bastards had wiped out every cent I had. Here's where things get darker. I wasn't about to let this slide, so I went digging. I managed to track down another guy who had been to the fight club. He told me something I didn't want to believe at first. Steve wasn't just some low-level con artist. He was part of a network. This wasn't just about rigging fights. They were running an entire operation, laundering money, faking identities, and even setting people up for massive financial scams. My money? Gone. Probably buried in some offshore account under a fake name I'll never find. I was fuming, ready to go nuclear, so I started poking around more, asking questions. Bad move. A couple of days later, I get a call from a blocked number. A voice on the other end says, "Stop asking about Steve. It won't end well for you." Then the line went dead. I should have taken the warning, but I didn't. I kept pushing. I found out about another underground fight happening the next week, same time, different place. So I showed up. I didn't have any cash left to bet, but I wasn't there to gamble. I was there to confront Steve and get back what was mine. I finally spotted him in the crowd, laughing it up with a bunch of thugs. I made my move, shoving through the crowd until I was right in his face. "You scammed me, you piece of—" Before I could finish, I felt something cold and hard press against my side. A gun. One of his guys had it pointed at me, real casual, like this was just another Tuesday for him. "Steve." He barely even blinked. "You've got balls showing up here again," he said, smirking. "But you're done. Walk away now, or you won't be walking out at all." I was boiling over, but with a gun in my ribs, what was I gonna do? I backed off, furious, but I wasn't done. Not yet. Here's the last twist. On my way out, I spotted someone familiar. One of the fighters from the first night, the guy who'd taken the dive. He was hanging back, away from the crowd, looking nervous. I followed him outside, keeping my distance until we were far enough away from the goons. Then I cornered him. "You know it's a scam, right?" I spat. "Steve's playing everyone." What he told me next floored me. "You think this is about money?" he whispered, eyes darting around. "Steve's not the one running this. He's a pawn. There's someone bigger pulling the strings. You think you've been scammed? You don't even know the half of it. They're using guys like you to cover up something much bigger." I tried to get more out of him, but before he could say anything else, a black SUV pulled up, tires screeching. 3 guys jumped out, grabbed him, and shoved him into the back seat. I didn't even have time to react. One of them looked at me and grinned. "You should have walked away when you had the chance," he said before the SUV sped off into the night. Now I'm sitting here broke, angry, and out for blood. I don't know who's behind this, but I'll find out. I don't care how deep I have to go or how dangerous it gets. I'll take every one of them down, because this isn't just about the money anymore. It's about payback. They think they can scare me into silence? They're dead wrong. This isn't over, not by a long shot.